and I just want to go through this adaptation a bit now. So for you guys to understand what a new language of music is, I need to quickly explain what the old traditional language of music is. When you have a music note, it tells you three major pieces of information: which key you're going to press down, which finger you're going to use, and how long you're going to hold on a certain note. This is Beethoven's Elise, and with this we have symbols that are in between lines or on lines that tell us which note we're going to press. We have little numbers that tell us which finger we're going to use as part of a relatively complicated system. And then we have a system called our time signature and our beats, which if you're a musician, you know what I'm talking about already, but this basically divides up your counting in a very specific way based on symbols being slightly different from one another. This is Beethoven's Elise, written with traditional music notation, and this is Elise written for occupational octaves piano in my notation. What you see here is the exact same instructions as the traditional notation. Every single note, every single finger, and every single beat is the same. So I'm in this fortunate position where I figured out a system that actually works for an adaptation that doesn't really take away from the original too much. So how does it work? Well, we focus on clarity and ease. We have a system of colored letters in rhythmically designed boxes that match up with these colored rings and a labeled keyboard. And the way this works is you'll see a certain colored letter. Here's a green D. And what this means is that you're going to find your letter D on the piano, you're going to find your green finger, and you're going to press down. And this way you have the right note and the right finger. The beats get a little bit more complicated. In traditional music notation, you do a lot of counting to go along with everything. And with occupational octaves, fortunately, you could do the exact same type of counting if you want to, or you could adapt even further if the student doesn't really follow the beats with the numbers that you give. You could just point one at a time, one to the next, and move somebody along the process, and it all will come out sounding exactly the same as the traditional notation. Now, this is what I refer to as special needs user-friendly. There are plenty of special needs that won't be able to use a program like this. For example, a blind person. This is not completely special needs user-friendly. However, with the basic color and letter matching skills, it has been going really, really well so far. So now we know exactly which key to push down, which fingers to use, and a system to go through our beats. Now, sorry, my PowerPoint got a little messed up. Now, once we have all of these instructions and we can connect one to the next to the next, we actually have to connect one to the next to the next, and that's a system. Now, when using traditional music notation, as most people do, this is what I do. I form a flow cycle. It starts with translating a note, then I organize the steps, then I play the note, then I repeat the instruction, and I go over and over and over and over. And as a young musician, I went through this process probably millions of times. But it's not as simple as just going through the cycle. You have to go through the cycle with more notes, with more beats, with more fingers, with more challenges, and you want to get to the point where you could actually overwhelm yourself with the challenge like I do. But if you have a student that's unable to read traditional music notation, anxiety and boredom are going up, which is the zone on the chart that we wanted to avoid. So what I've done is I've come along, and instead of people that can't read traditional music notation not being able to engage in any of the steps, we use the colors and the letters, and now we have the translating step down and working and functioning. And the person that couldn't read the traditional notation is now able to engage in all of the other steps that somebody like me, a high-level classical player, can engage in. And then it's a loop, because once you get to your spot, you just continue. And you don't just continue, you want things to get more difficult, so there's more of a challenge. Because if you are not moving along the challenge and the skill balance, you are going to come across apathy, you're going to come across boredom, and it's not going to work. And you need to be able to challenge yourself in a really heavy way. When I'm playing, I'm going through the flow cycle like this. I get to really, really experience things, and when I'm in this state over here, when it's going this fast, that's when I'm pretty sure the loss of consciousness, the transformation of time, and the autotelic experience really, really kick in. And it's almost like I had to get to that transient hypofrontality state, that closed mental loop first, and then get into an intense enough challenge, and then you could have the experience. And fortunately, with the situation that I've put together with the Occupational Octaves book series, I'm able to bring students into this position over and over. And I'm going to show you a quick video. This video is actually from the night that Scott and I met each other at a fundraiser for the Family Center. We have one common student, my buddy Jason. Jason is featured in a documentary about my program named Occupational Octaves, and he is an awesome little dude. He's just an awesome little dude. Super social, loves engaging with people, but he is very limited in terms of his educational abilities. We had tremendous problems getting him to look at the right spot right away, to focus on the letter and the keys the way that they needed to be focused on. But over the course of time, Jason really turned things around and became a great player. So this is Jason performing at a Life's Work, the 49th anniversary gala for the organization that Scott works for. And this is Jason's performance, using the rings on the fingers, and reading out of my books. Unfortunately for Jason, he's completely incapable of ever learning to read traditional music notation. So I'm actually going to fast forward a little bit so you can see where we get to actually close the loop, which is the finality of the performance. The applause, the bow, and him knows it. He knows what he did. He has. He had a proper challenge, skill balance. He had action awareness merging, where the activity that he had to partake in was autonomous. He had clear goals. He had unambiguous feedback, not only playing the piece correctly, but the audience. He had concentration. You can see he was not distracted, and he was certainly in control. I can tell you from experience, if you're not in control of the piano, it's not going to sound like music. Anyway, we're at 1:40. Can I keep going? What do you want to call it?
No, you can go for.
All right, I got just a couple minutes. So, now we know the piano flow cycle, and we got to actually watch a student perform using the program. So, my last portion, which I'm going to go through real quick right now,